Nearly 6,000 feet above the sea level, snuggled amidst snow-capped peaks of the Hindu Kush mountain range, the Chitral Valley lies in the extreme north of Pakistan. At the northwestern side of Chitral Valley bordering Afghanistan lie the three magical valleys of Bombrate, Rambur and Barir, the homeland of the Kalash, generally known as the Kalasha people. The Kalasha, or the wearers of the black robe, are a Dardic people, whose origin and ancestry is enveloped in layers of mystery, while a legend says that 5 soldiers of the legions of Alexander the Great settled in Chitral and are the progenitors of the Kalasha. However, contemporary anthropologists have found no genetic linkages to either Greek or Macedonian bloodlines. Kalasha may well be the original inhabitants of their Shangri-La-like habitat. Kalash, an umbrella term, describes their tribe, their pre-Islamic religion, their language, and their society, the Kalashamun. The Kalashas have lived in peace and harmony amidst predominantly Muslim populations of Chitral for hundreds of years. According to their own accounts, they arrived in these valleys some 3,000 years ago and made these valleys their own home, and ruled over the Chitral Valley for around 200 years. Amongst their famous kings include the great Bola Singh and Rajavai. Today, the Kalasha are one of the world's endangered minorities, with a population of merely under 5,000 remaining. Kalasha are polytheistic, with a rich tapestry of deities and demigods, comparable to the pre-Islamic Indo-Iranian tradition. The most striking feature of the Kalasha's life is perhaps their religious festivals. Their festivals are held in accordance to the change in seasons. The 4 seasons of this habitat are celebrated through 5 major and 13 minor festivals. These festivals feature a complex and vibrant mix of praying, offering food, sacrifices to appease deities, preparations of special cuisines, and indeed, the most significant part, the religious dance participated by the entire community. Ratnat, meaning in the local language the Kalash as the dance of night, is relatively a longer festival amongst other Kalasha commemorations. Ratnat spans over 4 to 5 weeks, from mid-July to the 3rd week of August each year, at 4 parts of Bombrate Valley and 1 specific spot of the Rambur Valley. This is a festival of the youth, of the transference of learning and wisdom from one generation to the other. This festival prepares the youth in particular for other festivals. Ratnat is also a singular custodian of transference of what remains exclusively an oral tradition, from heart to heart and from one generation to the next generation. The art of beating the traditional drum, the traditional dances, the songs, the religious chantings, all of these are articulately taught to the younger generation by the community elders through the span of Ratnat.
Madeva Gom ki speedway. Gomo है गोमो विस्पेली आते राजी महादेव वालती आते महादेव गंबूरी को तो कुछ वाला थी पायो वालती खीर दो ही सारूस दी छह रत्नत बोल.
The Ratnat, coinciding with the ripening of the wheat crop, commences with adolescent boys washing their hands, an ablution of sorts, then picking up wheat spikes and offering them at the sacred abode of the deity Mahadev. The wheat branches are offered, juniper branches are lighted to cleanse the space with sacred smoke. Goat milk is spilled, followed by chantings of prayers. And thus the Ratnat begins. The spellbinding beat of the local drum is the clarion call for the community to assemble at Charsu and Giriken, the sacred designated dancing enclaves. Charsus are covered spaces, whereas Giriken are open spaces. As if in a rapture of ecstasy, girls, boys, women and men must follow the drum beat up and down the twisted alleys in groups, and thus make a dazzling display of their joyous assembly at the Charsu and Giriken. This festival has a unique distinction of being the nursery for planting the seeds for continuation of the Kalasha cultural heritage. The boys will command playing of the drums. Girls will recite primordial spiritual chantings. Women and girls will form crescent-like constellations, and the dance begins. No one will be out of step, not a single beat missed. This is as if an earthly depiction of the spatial patterns of the satellites and stars observed ever so minutely by the Kalashas from the mountain peaks, looking at the clear illuminated skies. This festival is rather unique amongst all other Kalasha festivals, for its entire coordination and leadership is led by the youth, at each step guided by the religious elders though, the Qazis, or as they are known by the Kalasha as Gaderuk. It is the youth that take the lead in songs and dance, prayers and offerings. This is an opportunity for the youth to learn, relearn and internalize the subtleties, meaning and wisdom of their Kalasha cultural heritage.
Majan to no bitise. Hes lauza bishe. Lauza as ki cha ki bum birira road bagai. Royan gig big boss yat hoy. پروشتی نوشوی دیکو وجه ماه زبان هشوی کی امیش چوی امیش چایا طریقه ہوئی کی او چھتراری زبان همه نمودی کنو بیان بری ران ہے وجه کلشوارا بری اتان رس.
What might appear to be repetitive, cyclic, and one-dimensional to an unfamiliar foreign eye and ear, indeed, is most beguilingly just the opposite. The drumbeat changes, the dance steps in fluid subtleness alter the pace, and the body movement transforms from one trance to another.
हे रडनट हा शाश रडनट केरो ई याश की स्पाई या बोसुंदी की शुरू गए बासी कोशानी कोरी कोयशर स्पाई कोशानी पृष्ठ जमाना आयरो आशकोरा वबिरानी की हेस बो हेरो एक मजा होशी हेरो खुबी होशी द्रुंग छुया औरतान रफना होशतानी शावा कोशी इंसान मुझे जज्बा होशी हाथों कोरा होशतानी तेरो हेरो कोरा होशतानी तान दे देला सबा होशतानी छुया आशकेरा दोलियो देते तान देरा स्टॉक कोरी रोई यसबा होशतानी हाय जमाना तो कादिर भाई Aura juraş ki sav sukuliyo sukulya binen dakan de sukulya binen hate ro roksitani prushti zamana sukulya bik no şeytan te moshi adraka asur pajali koyan asa tan tamalan rachiran sham bi koyra gite tan soro i delasa bavishta yasa hegen ero prushti zamana çok yes rivaçe şey hay zamana ero aşki ajeli sabah greo ches biti har iş ner roksiya suni no ti akra ko es no ko jana hay zamana.
The diversity of the dances, however hard to spot, is indeed extraordinary. There will be no less than 13 different kinds of dances performed at the Ratnat. These dances include the dance of Cha, the dance of Dushak, Darayelik, Chanja, Enderin Jaroni, Parapandavak, Pesti Toto Parki, Miho Mohava, Hochiava Happy, Shagayak, Grazulak, Uha, and some other dances. This is the slow dance called the Cha. The fast-paced Chana dance leads to Drajulak, the slow and calculated performance with nuanced and subtle steps. These dances unfold tales of love and woe. Girls would form a human chain in 6 and 30s, and in some cases they might make up a human chain up to 60s in number, forming a stunning semicircle reincarnating the tale of a girl jumping from the precipice into a gushing river flowing below, resisting the advances of a lecherous king. young are taught how to string a drum and indeed how to tune it. For it is they who would be beating the drum in the years to come. Throughout the dances, the boys will whistle, and that's a message to snakes to ward off from this ritual. The boys will also make a ho-ho sound. And these are coded commands to the bears and wolves to stay away from the ritual. The Ratnat also revives the traditional fine crafts. Let's look at Wali Muhammad's fine crafts and hear what he has to say.
लेकिन मैं शौक है हमें कुरमान थे वो शोई लेकिन ताती लेकिन आबादियों कुरुम कुराव शोई लेकिन आमुश कुरुम नो तो वो क्या घीर बोनी क्या आवाज बोनी हवा आते तन लेकिन चेक डाकना यू गाने आते तन ऐसे इस्तेमाल कोरी खराब कोरी ला की को तात मत कहारी बोई कहारी भी को आसे अमगार भी को आवाज़ तन घनी इस्तेमाल कोम हाश कोरी लेकिन हवा है कोरमो लेकिन माँ हवा क्या बात क्या कोरमो ते माँ ऐसोई फिकी तोरी ते हाथे टे माश की हवा है कोरमो ते शौकुस और आमो कुमन तान हमो चिची दिया सुमतान लेकिन शायद ऐसे उस्ताद के आने की लेकिन हनी सब महीनों मिसाल होता ते क्या तुम महीनों कफासों की लाकी तो आसे आते हो मजबूर बीते आसे लुआ ठाकुरान नो ऐसे रोकी नोची चेतम लेकिन ताते आया कि सारतम लेकिन हश वक़्त गोई क्या कि इमोशो है शेरा लेकिन इमोश वफात पीती है सूरत होते आने से है घनाव साउज़ एली पेन लेकिन आ तो वो क्या कि आते वफात पिरुओ थुरुरो क्या क्या सुनी हाथे की ती रहनी की लेकिन माँ आवातन या माँ बापू ते या माँ तातू ते ऐसे घनाव साउज़ ईमान लेकिन सुराता तू घनाव साउज़ लेकिन तू इस रो साउज़ाओ हवा तना सातम किरते ही लेकिन कि ऐसे कुछ की चाहिए अस्तम लेकिन ऐसे आते तन ज़रूरत हो कोई कि नोची चाहिए रू बिरतम लेकिन ऐसे किती तो गो ऐसे बेचते ही गाना का सब देर तो होता है
किसी का अपना मजहब है, कोई थ्रेट भी करता है तो हमें कोई फ़र्क नहीं पड़ता। मतलब हमारा तो अपना कल्चर है, हर किसी का अपना है। मतलब वो करे तो हम उनको बता देते हैं कि हमारा कल्चर है, मतलब हमारे परदादा, हम खुद भी इससे मतलब होके गुजरना है। ये तो नहीं है कि उनको वो हमें ब्रेन वॉश करें, हमने चेंज होना है, ये तो नहीं करना है। और भी हमें मतलब जोश व खरूश से इस कल्चर को हमें आगे लेके जाना है।
आजकल ऐसे है कि ना वो एजुकेशन की तरफ जा रहे हैं और अपने गुड एजुकेशन लेके आके अपने कल्चर को रिप्रेजेंट अच्छी तरीके कर रहे हैं। लेकिन अच्छी बात है कि यहाँ के लड़के पढ़ रहे हैं और अच्छा के अपने कल्चर को भी अच्छी तरह के रिप्रेजेंट कर रहे हैं।
Ratnat is not just a religious or a cultural commemoration. It is a space, it's a forum. It gives an opportunity to the Kalasha, older and younger generations to communicate, to be within the same space, to learn from each other, talk to each other, sing and dance together. Therein lies the strength of the community. This is the last night of Ratnat, the dance of night. The last night is called Yaya Yuk. Tonight, boys and girls, women and men will arrive here from distances from up and down the valleys. They'll gather here at this spot and will dance the night away until the dawn. While it is true that the Kalash cultural heritage is under severe external threat of extinction, but then there is an inner resolve, an inner commitment, and an inner resilience which is visible and manifest across the festivals. Ratnat is a living legacy of the transference of the local wisdom, knowledge, colour, and the dialogue from one generation to the other. However, during the day, Kalasha children, the girls and the boys, will go to their schools, will acquire the education that they need and they are committed to. the festival of Ratnat comes to an end. Next year there would be a new generation and new celebrations. But the question remains, for how long? The pressures upon Kailashas are mounting. With each day passing, they're becoming more and more vulnerable. Yet the Kailasha elders feel that their uninterrupted cultural heritage could still be salvaged if only the world around them were to hold their hands.